All right, all right. How's everybody doing today? This is your host Tucson Knights from the Good Night Show. So we're happy to have everybody, and I feel like we just lost one of our guests. Have mercy. But this is your host, and I am excited to be here today. On a sad note, unfortunately, but I'm definitely just excited to be here to continue our conversations and things that we do consistently. And so today on the Good Night Show, we're going to be talking about Coach Roddy, and I'm going to have a few people on to talk about Coach Roddy, and it's just kind of amazing. I was just talking to one of my mentees of like how many generations that Coach Roddy has been at Oakwood. Like, what? It's crazy. Like, he's been there for so long. So real quick, how it'll go. If you all have anything that you want to share, if you want to come on, we'll allow you to even come on camera. We'll send you the information. If I have it, I'll make sure I send you the information. But we definitely want you all to join the conversation. If you have anything you want to share in the chat, feel free. Please share the video share the video with your friends, your networks, so we can talk more about it. The first person I want to bring up today to talk about Coach Roddy. I'm going to share my own things as the day go by. But the first person, like, is one of my mentees, and like I said, even though I'm not that much older than him, but Edmund is, I think Edmund's like 20, and so, or 21. He got to be 21 by now. We'll let him talk about that. But one of the things that was just amazing to me is how, like, Roddy has been there like generation after generation, and then at the time actually that Edmund attended. Let's say I'm breaking up. Hopefully it's not. Let me know in the chat if y'all seeing any issues. But hopefully, I just want him to discuss, basically, and Edmund just logged off. I don't know. He clearly cannot find the right video. So when Edmund come back, we're gonna bring Edmund on. Oh, here he is right here. Let me just bring him before he goes off again. All right, Ed, what's good, man?
Hey, what's the deal?
What's going on? This is one of my kids right here. Y'all already know. Yeah. So, Edmund, just tell them about what you're doing at Oakwood right now, and tell them how did you come in contact with Coach Roddy? How did you meet Coach Roddy? So, tell them what you're doing at Oakwood, basketball, that type of stuff.
All right, well, this is I'm going into my 4th year at Oakwood. I play on the basketball team.
Show your face, Ed, in the camera. There you go.
It's my 4th year at Oakwood. I play on the basketball team, and I met Coach Roddy about like the 11th grade. It was my 11th grade year, and ever since then, like, I just seen like how big of an impact he had on the program for like a long time. And my major is mathematics education.
Okay. And so tell them, so you met him in high school, and so tell them what happened when you ended up going to Oakwood. Like, you was telling me some things earlier, so just share with like some of the stuff he helped you with.
Well, me and Coach Roddy, like Coach Roddy, I knew him for a long time, but he didn't know me too well because I was kind of younger. But by the time I got to Oakwood and played on the team, he was already retired. So like, I remember I had a problem like shooting free throws. It was like a game, like 1-2 game stretch. I was like 5 for 9. I was like missing like a lot of free throws, and I didn't even know Coach Roddy at the time. But he came up to me and he was talking to me, and like, he basically just like gave me like a lot of pointers on my free throws, and it felt like real awkward at first. But I never Crazy Buddy, I never told nobody this, but it felt real awkward at first, and I kept practicing it. And like the next game, I went like 8 for 9 from the free throw line.
Wow. So like, as I was telling you all, Coach Roddy just been a part of so many people's lives. And at that time, Coach Roddy wasn't even working at Oakwood. He had been retired. So, all right. So we just wanted to bring Ed on just to tell that. And I have some other people. Thank you, Ed, for your time. We appreciate you, my guy.
No problem.
And as I was saying, like, we have other people that's going to come on periodically, and we're going to talk about Coach Roddy throughout today. And if you have anything to say, for sure, be sure to comment in the chat. I can't even tell y'all in the chat, so y'all make sure y'all comment. Just say hello, I'm here, because I can't see anything. I don't know if my chat's still working. But I'm going to bring on my mans, our regular guest here. We haven't been on for a while, but we trying to get back at it. But we have a regular guest, my guy, EA Sports right here, EA Adams. So I'm going to bring him on. Got his little Lakers hat on, bless his heart.
I'm in the spirit.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year, everybody, by the way.
Happy New Year, my brother.
Yes, yes. So, hopefully we're having a better year. Hopefully we'll have a better year for sure. But I wanted to, yeah, man. So, EJ, even I know I had a good relationship with Roddy, but a lot of people were on the basketball team, like Edmund was, and you were there. It was at Oakwood when I was at Oakwood. So, why don't you talk about the impact that Coach Roddy had on your life while you were there?
Yeah, for sure. I appreciate you having me on. So for context, I played basketball for 3 seasons. My sophomore to senior year, Roddy was the athletic director there the entire time that I was there. Also took some classes, golf, I think tennis, and some other stuff with him. So I was around him pretty regularly while I was at Oakwood. Um, it's funny listening to Edmund's story a little bit because free throws was one of Roddy's things, and maybe he got nicer, but like when we used to miss free throws, it would be they're free, dag nabbit, like so, that's what we used to get all the time from Roddy. And if you weren't careful, he'd hit you in the chest with a forearm that'll shape you up real quick. But Roddy, man, Roddy was just, we know, like Roddy was everything to Oakwood, to the athletic department, especially. I think one of the biggest things, and like looking back now, you kind of realize, you talk about, in our current context of where we are in the world, there's a lot of talk about allies and being an ally and all that stuff like that. And if you want a template for what an ally looks like, you can look no further than Roddy. He dedicated his career to helping Black kids make something of themselves. And while he loved the game of basketball, which brought a lot of us to him, at the same time, he loved us even more as people, and as human beings. And from the time, even after I played, years after I left, every time I would see Roddy, he would always let me know how proud he was of me and what I was doing. So it was about basketball, but it was also a lot more than basketball as well. It was about us as individuals, as human beings. I can't say enough about Roddy. I don't know. I think there's just about everybody at Oakwood. There could be somebody that has something negative to say about just about anybody at Oakwood, but I've literally never heard anybody say anything negative about Roddy because he was just that good of a dude.
That's
So
true.
my heart goes out to his family, Mrs. Roddy, who was also critically involved in the school and supporting her husband and supporting the students, and his children. It's just a really, really tough loss for the Oakwood community for sure.
Yeah, yeah, that's important. I was just thinking about that earlier. Everybody can say something negative about somebody. It does not matter. And I was like, you never heard anything negative about Coach Roddy, and he was it wasn't like he was a figure that stayed to himself. He was always out there. He was always talking to people. He always he don't mind putting his hands on you. You feel me? Like it was crazy. And so what do you think about how can people, like you said, like you talked about this a little bit, like a lot of people are looking for ways to get involved in the community. And as we can see, like Coach Roddy was so involved. And a part of it, I think, was like his Christian faith. And like from stories I heard, he basically came to Oakwood in the 50s. It was kind of awkward for him. So how do you like suggest like people go on in their lives, people that want to volunteer? And like you said, he's kind of like showed a pathway to help Black people, and he's a different race. He's not the same race, and it was at HBCU. So let me make sure. I feel like I lost you. Can you hear me? All right, go ahead. No, I don't know. I can hear you now. Go ahead. Uh, I don't know. I think we having some trouble, technical difficulties. Try it now. I can hear you now. What about? I don't know. I think we lost them. All right, we'll bring up our next guest. Can y'all still hear me though? That's good. All right, so we'll bring up our next guest, Evan. So as I was saying, we was talking about just the different things about Coach Roddy. So why don't you give us your experience with Coach Roddy? So Evan, real quick, by introduction, hold on 1 second. I don't have this stuff figured out today. But by introduction, Evan. I went to school with him as well, and he worked. We worked together on USM, so we did a lot of things together. And so now you're a pastor. Just give us a brief introduction of yourself, and then tell us how you know Coach Roddy.
What's up, everybody? My name is Evan Willis, as my good friend Antoine said. I Eric and I went to school together as well from high school. I known him since I was about 15. But I came to Oakwood as a freshman. But as I came to Oakwood, the good thing is for guys who go to Pine Forge, we all kind of know people. So before I got down there, I talked to my friends what to expect on campus, what classes to take for general ed. And everybody I talked to said, if you have physical education, make sure to take Coach Roddy. And so I made sure whenever things opened up in my schedule to make sure I took Coach Roddy. So I took Coach Roddy for all three of my PEs, one being golf. That was the last one I did senior year, and he told me I was terrible at it, and I was. But I've gotten a little bit better. At least I'm a little bit better to drive the ball. Also, for basketball, I took him, and for basketball, we had I took him, and he was always a good voice, and he would give me pointers while I was playing, whether it was whatever we were doing in the drills. I typically did okay. And I took him for softball my freshman year. So Coach Roddy, I mean, just a warm personality. If you were shy, he made you feel welcome. If you were not someone who kind of in shell, he always made sure you felt welcome in the class, and just real good personality. Love to laugh. But then also towards the end, I like as Antoine pointed out, I was in student government. And Coach Roddy, he never really said much to me as a student leader, but I remember coming back as a pastor after I started pastoring South Atlanta Conference, and I came back. My wife and I, we missed it when we first left, and still miss Oakwood. We enjoyed ourselves thoroughly there. When we came back, we were came to a basketball game, and he made sure to ask me to pray, and it kind of demonstrated the fact that he saw the calling God had on my life, and he affirmed and confirmed that. And we always had a chance to exchange, talk, laugh, and so there are very few Coach Roddys in the world. But now getting to the question you kind of posed, how can someone who is an outsider of a community come in and be an ally? Because, as I said before, Roddy is a rarity. I think the issue is most times when people come into communities, whether they are going as missionaries over to foreign countries, or whether they are going to um, maybe an urban community and they're trying to come in and help. Um, I think Roddy didn't come in as a savior. He came in and he embraced us first, right? So, I've had experiences where white educators come into a community and they will even Christian education. They'll come to Christian schools and they'll work and teach at the school, but let's say that school is associated with a church, they won't go to that church. They'll go to their church. Roddy was a faithful member and leader, and I believe elder at the Oakwood University Church. So, there are other options that may have been initially more comfortable for him, but he made a conscientious choice to come to the Oakwood University Church to be around students. So I think one of the first things that's important if you're going to help or be an ally in a community, it is make yourself available and be present where that community is present, because you can't help people you don't understand and that you don't have an intimate relationship with. And so Coach Roddy, I think by being at Oakwood Church and being on campus and serving, he made sure that he developed intimate, genuine relationships to the point where you're talking about a lot of African American men and African American females, but particularly African American or just Black men in general, who viewed Coach Roddy as more than just a coach, but they view him as family. So I think he did a wonderful job doing that very thing, making sure he was more than just an instructor, but became a part of the community and our family.
No, I like that. I like that as well. I don't know what's going on with this. When you try new technology, things mess up. I'm sick about this, but yeah, I tried to do a few things today. I worked on it, and it's just not working out right now. So it's a little different. So bear with us, folks. Bear with us. I apologize for that. But yeah, man, I was struck by that, like what you said. Overall, he definitely just made himself a part of the community, and that's so important these days, because a lot of people will join and they'll be a part of something, but they definitely don't understand what we go through. And if you talk to Coach Roddy on any day, you kind of understood. And so, like you said, like being for me in my environment was, and EJ, feel free to hop back on. We'll see, can we get you back? But being in my environment, there was a few things that I saw with Coach Roddy, because I worked with him, and I worked with him on the stance of, like, I was student body president. So I remember, like, he was so supportive of everything that we did. Now, as I told the story on Facebook yesterday, when I was student body president, I thought I should get out of every assignment, every class. So I just knew, like, softball was not going to be an issue. You feel me? Like, it's softball. Like, Coach Roddy, it's softball. Like, what's going on? And oh my gosh, like he was like, I was like, man, you need to, like, he was like, man, you better start hitting the ball and stop coming. I can't see you, EJ. I don't know why it's not working. Sorry, this is crazy. All right. But I was saying that, but he was like, man, you better start coming to class, stop coming to class in your suit. I'm like, I'm like, what you want me to do? All right, I see you now. Let's see, can we do you up? Yeah, sorry. I think we back to. I think we're back. Yeah, I think we're back. Sorry about that, everybody. Technical difficulties. The devil is busy out here today. Bishop, we might have to have you pray us through this one, huh? But yeah, I was. He was like, he was too mad that he started to come to class in my suit, and the reason why I came in my suit is because I wanted to let him know that I had no interest in playing no softball. So I just wanted to be sure. I'm not about to be out here getting all dirty. I got meetings to go to. And he was just not hearing none of that. And he ended up giving me a B-. I was like, Roddy, come on now. Can't give me a B- in softball class, okay? Hey, you feel me? He's like, nah, I'm not doing that. All right. But Evan, you said you got somebody to bring on?
Yeah.
Is it you gonna get a camera, or he's gonna
come sit here with me?
yeah, that's cool. Yeah, sure. But yeah, so I got the little B- in softball. We got the good brother Darryl Williams. All right, is that your name, right? I got it right?
Yeah, you got it right.
Awesome. So tell us, you went to Oakwood as well?
Yeah, I went to Oakwood. I started in '88 was my freshman year. So the same year we were all a part of the freshman choir that became Dynamic Praise. So
oh wow.
Yeah,
wow.
My first year there, but my oldest brother went there in '83, and I remember when he came home before I went there, and he was talking about this white he didn't call him a coach. This white guy that runs the gym. He's like, he don't take no. He's like, he don't let no foolishness pass. I was like, yeah, whatever. It kind of went through my head, not really thinking about it until I got there. And then I met Coach Roddy, and I was like, oh, I see what he's talking about. And man, he was just full of fire. And about him is like, he wouldn't, I guess where you might say, a Caucasian man speaking to all these young Black guys might kind of not be as direct, but he didn't hesitate. He was like, listen, boy, get to class. What are you doing? And he was like really direct, but I could appreciate that because it wasn't coming from a space of hate. It was coming from a space of betterment. He wanted you to be better. He wanted things. He knew the importance. I think that he knew the importance of a black man trying to make a difference, coming up through the South and growing. You know, like when you have a white person who sees both sides, I'm sure in some of his circles, he hears exactly how they speak about black people. And now he's in a space now to be able to direct us and kind of get us to make the right choices. And I think that he did a really good job of that. And the last thing that I'll say is, my daughter is at Oakwood now, and she was a freshman in 2018. So when I was doing the paperwork, I was just like, dang, I just realized it's 30 years since I've been here. Like time flies. But as we were getting her all situated in the dorm, I went over to Walmart, to get some last minute things, and I ran into Coach Roddy. I was like, Coach, he was like, what's up? I was like, no, you don't remember me. I mean, I haven't been there in years. I was like, you don't remember. He's like, of course I remember you, man. And then just the fact that whether or not he truly remembered me, but the way that he really enveloped me at that moment in Walmart, just like, yo, it's so good to see you. I hope everything is good. My daughter's with me, and she plays for the Oakwood team. And I was like, she's coming up here. He's like, well, I just retired, but I'm gonna put in a good word for her. I'm gonna watch her. He was like really, just really loving, I would say. Even you know how you have that mean uncle, but you know that he got love for you. Yeah, he was definitely like that. So
I like it.
Yeah, that's the one thing I would say about him, man.
Yeah, man. And then, like I said, it stretches through generations and generations, man. Isn't that? It's just like wild to me. EJ, you want to add anything, or?
I mean, everything Darryl's saying is facts. I mean, Roddy was special. Like, he was special. I don't know. I mean, I know I kind of dipped out on when we were talking about the ally. You asked a question about allies, but
yeah,
Roddy was. I mean, it's what's the one thing I will say is that, like, to speak to Roddy and what he did is for a lot of people. They know like Brian Stevenson. He's a criminal defense lawyer that's in Alabama. The movie Just Mercy, Just Mercy. He wrote the book, and there was a movie after him. But one of the things he talks about is the power of proximity, and like how if you really want to touch people, if you really want to do things for people, like you have to get close, you have to get proximate. And I think that Roddy embodied that. Like he embodied the power of proximity, not in a way like how Evan had, talking about missionaries and things like that. Like he wasn't going somewhere to return to leave and go back to where he came from. Like, this was the place where he was from, like, and that's why, that's why this loss hurts, because we knew we could always count on Roddy to be there. Like, anytime I went to Huntsville, if I pulled up to Oakwood Church, I knew I would see Roddy and Mrs. Roddy sitting in their seats. I can go over and talk to them. And as someone who really saw my development as a basketball player and as a man, he meant a lot. He just meant a lot. And it's really sad because especially with the virus, you kind of feel like people like Roddy were just taken too soon, and so it kind of makes it makes me upset, at least, but we gave Roddy his flowers when he was here. I feel very happy about that. Like, Roddy knew how much he meant to us, to me, and I think us as basketball players. And so I'm glad that it's not a situation where I'm looking back like, man, I should have told Roddy this, or I should have done this, or anything like that. Like, Roddy knew how special he was. And so I hope that helped him, go through his the trauma a little easier, just knowing that he was extremely loved by Oakwood and by its students. So
yeah, sure. And something that I saw the good Bishop Meyer Evans stated, he said Roddy is from Mississippi and moved his family to a black school in the 70s. He said, think about that. Right?
Revolutionary. I mean, revolutionary.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Like, I'm like, you don't really understand the seriousness and everything that he's done and contributed to the school. Just from my time there, I could see like his impact. And like people were saying, when you see him from afar, it's like, who's that little old cranky white dude in here, man, going off on everybody? And as the elder was saying, Like he wasn't one of those timid people that he couldn't say this to you. He spoke his mind every single time. And, like we said, that only comes from a position of always being there, of always having that respect level and people understanding. Because, in these times, you yelling at somebody, some white guy, or yelling at a black kid, it's like, we need to have a full investigation and put some foot on around here. But it's like you never thought that about Coach Roddy. I think a lot of people, if you tried to even do anything like that, you had a lot of people come to his defense because they know how much he cared, how much he cared about Oakwood. And like for me, like you said, that proximity is like, it just shows you like what you can do when you leave Oakwood and how you can have an impact on someone's life, because you can be that hard person, but as long as you're always there. Evan, we see you rejoined us. Brother, you got anything? Go ahead.
Yeah, so I think it's important too, just thinking as I reflect upon, my educational experiences, that there's a power that coaches play in the life of particularly Black males. I look back to EA's closeness with Coach Fielder at Pine Forge. I remember, and I didn't even know the guy at Peterson Warren, but I remember when he passed, Coach Straw, how the impact that was felt when he was gone. And athletics is a space in which, for a lot of us, it's sometimes an opportunity to shine. Sometimes it's the only place where we feel most comfortable. And so to have a coach that doesn't just look at us as X's and O's in basketball, but sees a greater picture of us as human beings is vitally important. Because as EA pointed out, Coach Roddy poured into them, and Coach Roddy knew how they felt. And it's important that whatever we do, particularly with our young people and youth in general, it's not just about getting the job done, but it's about investing, pouring in, building up, and lifting up, so they can be better. Because for the vast majority of us, particularly Adventists, we're not going to be professional athletes, but we play sports, physical exercise, things of that nature, but it also has to be for the development of character and helping us see a brighter future than what we have before us. Because inevitably, all of us, eventually our knees are going to get achy, our backs are going to get tight, and we can't do the same things anymore, but we have to still know how to live after the fact.
Well said.
Anybody else you want to add any last words before we get off? We got about 2 minutes left. Anybody want to say anything else? I know I'll say real quick. Well, no, I'll let y'all go because I'm gonna have the last word anyway. But go ahead.
I'm praying for the family.
Sure.
All of those. I know Oakwood as a community, we're hurting. I think we're proud also, because of the experience of knowing Roddy, and I'll just say that Roddy did a job well done, and hopefully, as I continue to matriculate, through life, that I will be able to embody that dedication, that commitment to people around me in the way that Roddy did. So rest in peace, Coach.
Sure.
I think I would say that this has just been a really difficult year in general with everything going on. And it's always hard because, it's one thing when you kind of anticipate someone sick for years or for months, but with everything that's happening in this country, it's just devastating that some people who would have been here tomorrow aren't because of this virus. And so I just want to keep the Oakland community in prayer, keep his family in prayer, and look forward to seeing him again on the other side.
Absolutely. Thank you all for coming on. I truly appreciate it, man. Sharing y'all, just your lives and how Roddy has impacted it for sure. So I definitely appreciate that. As we close it out, I just, I think about Coach Roddy, and I'm just thankful for people that live a life that has so much service and purpose. And Oakwood is good with having those people around for some reason. You see a lot of people that is that way. I don't know anybody that is so like impactful like Roddy, especially if you were involved in sports, he was definitely just that person you could go to. And if you ever had any of his classes, I'm thankful for Coach Roddy. I'm thankful for his dedication and service to Oakwood for all those years. Praise God for him. And we'll miss him for sure. We definitely will miss him and see him in the morning. So I just ask you just continue to lift up his family in prayer, his children, and his wife. All right. Thank you all for joining the Good Night Show. And we'll be back hopefully with less technical difficulties in the future.